Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of May 6th through the 12th of 2024. All right, so this week we have a bit of a quiet week astrologically in the sense that we don't have a whole lot of aspects taking place, but it is still a very important week as we are ending the current eclipse month and starting the new one around Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday we have a new moon, and it is going to be in more assertive and active Aries, taking another step in the right direction, involving perhaps some proactivity in our life, taking more initiative, cultivating independence, learning more about who we are and what we want. And this is in a strong contrast to the more spiritual and inner and deeper emotional energies that we've had in Pisces. Now, it is still definitely a mixed week, as even though we have the new moon in active Aries, we still have Mercury and Mars in watery Pisces. So it still is that blend most certainly. But I would say that this new beginning now really is starting to lean things more into the airy, fiery, and more proactive side of things. And really just all in all giving us this sense of a reset and a fresh new beginning, involving perhaps some of the deeper energy regarding this last month's solar eclipse. So that's the most important thing here this week. It is going to be conjunct Jupiter and Uranus. So since about the past couple weeks, there has been some perhaps expansion, maybe some open-mindedness, things we've been inspired about, maybe even some opportunities which are likely going to start to get more integrated this lunar month, starting with the new moon. We have Mercury over Chiron early in the week, maybe a little bit of healing with communications, and learning about healing could be good. And then going into next week, the sun will enter Taurus and pass over that Uranus and Jupiter, adding to perhaps a little bit more earthy energy and cultivating some more of our inner and outer resources. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, May 6th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. You'll never see this true sky with mainstream because unfortunately they don't use the visible sky. They use mostly a seasonal system if you're in the West. And so the signs are definitely different. The placements are different. So if you are new to this channel, definitely check out the link down below for more information. All right, so let's do a little bit of a recap because we've had some sign changes last week. Last week we had more of that Aries energy with Venus entering Aries there. But this week we have still Mercury and Mars in watery Pisces. So Mercury rules our thoughts and communications, and Pisces really is the ethers. And so our minds are still very much in the ethers, as it has been and continuing this week. Perhaps thinking about what's more important to us on a soul level in life, and perhaps communicating in ways that are a little more receptive or even accepting in general. So working with the more spiritual, dreamy, imaginative, compassionate energies of life, I think, is a great way of working with Mercury here. And with Mars, it's that we can be taking action in this way. And this has been going on already for the past 2 weeks, I believe. So this sense of perhaps making sure that wherever we're putting our actions are soul guided. Mars is our assertive side. It's where we want to take initiative. And of course, with all this Aries energy starting to come into the mix, with Mars being the ruler of Aries, it's saying that it's through Pisces that we can be doing some of this active energy. It's through connecting with our soul that we can be taking initiative in our life. It's through this more receptive approach that can be a way of getting things done. So definitely, again, mixing that water and fire there. But with Mars, yes, how can we take those actions that are still soul guided? How can we sometimes maybe take a little bit of a step back, as is needed sometimes in life, and listen to that current of life and perhaps put energy towards the current instead of swimming up the stream. So Venus has entered Aries. As I said, the sun's already been here for a couple weeks, at least here. So the focus is definitely on how we can take initiative now And so anything that's focused on this way, I think, is great, especially with this new moon coming up here. Venus is how we can be connecting to life and in our relationships as well. So enjoying some of that more fiery energy and connecting in our relationships, perhaps in a more of a direct, assertive, and independent nature, I think can be great as well. All right, so let's go ahead and break down each day of the week here. As you can see, like I said, it's not a very eventful week in the sense that we don't have a lot of major aspects going on, but it's still a very important week, seeing as how we are ending the eclipse month and starting a fresh new lunar cycle. And this is a very important new moon specifically because it is conjunct Jupiter and Uranus. So as we do end the current lunar month, let's just say as we approach Wednesday, it's good to let the energies die down, right? Do a bit of a reset, see if there's any areas that are a bit out of balance that perhaps we can bring back into balance in terms of this new moon, and just listening, especially around the new moon itself. So it's the ending phase, good for completion, tying things up, and then slowly as we start and come out of Wednesday, good to set some of these new intentions. It's still going to be early in the lunar cycle. It's just building momentum, but there's certainly some new things that we can be perceiving, some new things that we can be planting seeds with and nurturing throughout this next lunar month. So as we approach that, as you might imagine, the moon will be in Pisces on Monday. So again, ending that Pisces energy. And so completion in the sense of perhaps wrapping things up regarding what's more soul-fulfilling or connecting with our soul. Perhaps things involving mental health or spiritual health, right? Again, some of that Pisces energy. As we do start to get into Tuesday, we will start to feel a little bit more of that active energy starting to come in. Not active as in all at once. This is, again, the lowest energy of the lunar cycle, so it's lowest energy, but in terms of taking action, taking initiative, that proactive Aries energy. Mercury will be passing over Chiron, and so our minds will be perhaps getting a dose of healing. Our communications might also be getting a bit of a dose of healing as well, as Mercury rules both of these things. So anything that is about intentional healing is always great anytime we have a conjunction with Chiron. And here, learning about it with Mercury, being curious about it. Sometimes even learning itself can be healing and therapeutic. And of course, the communications as well, both saying that communications can be healing, and then also communicating as a process to healing is also great. So some new beginnings there perhaps as part of this new moon here. Now the new moon, like I said, will be conjunct Uranus and Jupiter. They have been starting to enter Taurus. This is very important from a yearly sense. I would say that this is actually one of, if not the most important lunar months of the year, because of the activation of Uranus and Jupiter. Because Uranus and Jupiter is the yearly energy that we have. These two planets just conjoined back on April 20th, and now they're both starting to enter Taurus. So since then, it's been great to be a bit open-minded, especially with things that are going to give us a little bit more freedom in our life, things that speak more to our true self and speak more to our excitement. And so this is really what the new beginning is, and I think this new moon is really what's activating it now, even though it's already, again, been in effect for about a couple of weeks. So these two planets starting to enter into Taurus suggests that it's great to be open-minded about how we can cultivate our inner and outer resources in life collectively. All right, so collectively, it's a great time for connecting to nature, working with nature, building self-worth, self-value, those inner resources, natural talents, natural gifts. And then, of course, externally as well, perhaps the material life, those kinds of external resources. With Uranus, perhaps getting more involved in community as well when it comes to sharing resources or cultivating the earth together, things like this. So anything that's more visionary, more progressive, and even opportunities that are in this realm of the earthy elements of Taurus, the building of those inner and outer resources of life, the inner and outer natural values of life, I think is fantastic. And so again, any intentions around that is great for the new moon here. The new moon will be conjunct Venus, so there could be some new beginnings to these values in general, and Venus does rule Taurus, so it means that it's actually through Aries that we'll be cultivating a lot of this Taurus energy. So through taking some actions, taking initiative, right, being proactive in our life. So seeing the value of that, enjoying that, and connecting to life in that way. And the new moon will be sextiling Saturn. That is quite minor, but it's nice to see that Saturn's in good harmony, which can give us a bit of a sense of responsibility, a bit of a long-term view of things, and perhaps with Saturn in Aquarius, again, building some of these visions that we've had really the past couple years, we can say, with Saturn here. But any forward-thinking visions we've had, building that, being patient towards that, taking the responsibilities towards that, I think can be great. All right, so that's the new moon. Again, Tuesday, Wednesday here, and then slowly planting new seeds as we start to get into the new lunar month. The moon will start to shift into Taurus late Wednesday. And so for really the bulk of the week here, I would say late Wednesday all the way until Saturday. So through Friday, cultivating the Taurus energies, again, those inner and outer resources, connecting to that inner strength as well, because of course the outer comes from within. And so as we connect to the inner strength and inner abundances of ourselves, then we can enjoy that in the outer sense. So good time for that. And of course, maybe just enjoying a good meal, some relaxation, some aromas, some nature. This is all very good, the sensual life with Taurus in general. All right, and then when we do get to the weekend, the moon will shift into Gemini, so that's going to be Saturday and Sunday. We will start to notice a little bit more momentum here in the lunar cycle by this point, because by around early to mid next week, we'll really be integrating a lot of these new beginnings. But a good weekend for being curious. Gemini is very much like that Mercury energy, so good to be curious, interested, inquisitive, both for ourselves through maybe learning or studying, but also socially as well through communications, being curious and exchanging with others. A good weekend for that kind of a thing. And we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves when I say this, but the sun will be starting to enter into Taurus very early next week as well, adding to that grounding, resourceful energy. And of course, passing over Uranus as he does. So late Sunday, we might get a little bit of an insight in regards to, again, more of these innovations, more of these things we can be excited about, these visions. And next week, again, a lot of this will be integrated with that first quarter moon. All right, everyone. So that is the week in a nutshell. Most importantly is this new moon, the fresh reset to the lunar month coming out of the more deeper and spiritual and inward eclipse season of last month. And so listening around the new moon and perhaps also setting some new intentions is great as we lead into that, ending, completion, resetting, clearing, maybe a little bit of healing there with Mercury over Chiron. And then as we start to build some more of this new momentum, planting these seeds moving forward and cultivating perhaps some of this Taurus energy slowly, which is all about cultivating those inner and outer resources, seeing the opportunities of that with Jupiter, and also listening to our excitement around those things as well with Uranus. All right, so everyone, have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet gotten your True Sidereal Report, there's a link down below for that. You can type in your birth details, even if you don't know your birth time, and see where the sun, moon, and other planets were at the time of your birth using this visible sky. So there's a link down below for that, and also a discount if you want the full report. But do check it out if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.